So obviously, as someone from a minority ethnic community, I've experienced racism throughout all my life, from my younger years to more recently, but maybe in more of a subtle way, let's say. So I can totally understand why a lot of people from the black community especially are feeling aggrieved at the way they are being treated all over the world, and they've decided now to take a stand. So in relation to all that, I can totally agree with all that, and to some extent I do support it. So for example, all these protests that have been occurring, although I myself have not taken part in any of them, I'm not going to say anything bad against them for wanting to do that. Obviously, there have been some people that have taken advantage of these protests. Their anger and frustration has boiled over, whereby people have been hurt, properties have been destroyed, police have been attacked, statues have been taken down, and so on. So obviously, that part of it is not a good thing. But in terms of trying to raise awareness of the difficulties that the black community have come up against and continue to come up against, I am firmly behind that. Obviously, the main reason I've not been physically involved in them is because the coronavirus, current pandemic. So I've just decided to stay at home with my family, totally out of the way. But obviously, if there are people out there that want to be involved, then do so. Do it in such a way you're not going to, put other people's lives in danger, and do it accordingly. Now, there's a lot that's now happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, whereby, for example, in sport, a lot of football clubs are now getting behind it, and you've got your moments just before kickoff where all players are taking the knee in solidarity and in support. Now, that's great, that's brilliant, and it seems to have gone further than what they've ever done before. I mean, those logos, those t-shirts, what did that ever, help accomplish? But now these players are doing it, but I have noticed that there's some football fans that are genuinely threatened by this behaviour, genuinely upset that players are, as they think, are being forced to do this. They're not being forced to do this. Most of the players, all of the players, you would think, are doing it because they want to kneel in solidarity with their fellow human beings. So Wayne Rooney and the Derby County players, they're doing it for the right reasons. They're not being forced to do it. And I think that's what's happening now. There's a few folk that are really threatened by this. And I've noticed in the last few weeks, friends, family, they're starting to reveal their true nature. These aspects of thinly veiled racism are like creeping to the surface. And a time before, I might have let some of them go and thinking, nah, I don't want to get involved in that. But now it's like, nah, you've got to call it out. And if you believe them to be thinly veiled racists, or they're, heading towards that direction, you need to stick your neck out and say, look, that's not very nice. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Have you considered it from this point of view? And so on. Especially as an Asian man, Derby-born Punjabi of Sikh heritage, if people like me can't stand up for people that have been so badly treated over the years, then what hope have we got? So a few things to consider. In my opinion, every life matters as soon as you start accepting that black lives also matter. By that I mean, there's a few people now who immediately jump on this all lives matter narrative. Of course all lives matter, but when certain people say it, they're basically saying that black lives don't matter as much. What about us? What about our people? No one's saying you can't raise your own concerns and raise your own experiences. That's all good and well. But I'll put it like this. This all lives matter is simply the narrative of thinly veiled racists who can't accept that black lives matter because of their daft desire to engage in whataboutery shithousery. This is all about racists and anti-racists, right? You're either in one camp or the other. It's not about being black or white, or black and white. It's not about that. It's about you're either a racist or an anti-racist. Because there's a lot of non-BAME and non-black folk in the Black Lives Matter movements.